Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the Starkside. While you're here, I do appreciate it if you support the channel by hitting that like button. And if you're new here, please hit that subscribe as well as the notification bell. So, I just got back from my time off to deal with some personal stuff. But yeah, I'm back to reviewing action figures. So today we'll be talking about the Marvel Legends, the Puff Adder, Build-A-Figure Waves, Extremis, Iron Man. So here we have Iron Man in the windowless packaging for Marvel Legends. So at the front here we get a logo for the Avengers. And at the top we get another logo, the A for Avengers. At the side we get this nice concept art of Iron Man in his Extremis armor. At the side we get an image of the Build-A-Figure as well as a list of the figures for this wave. And at the back we get this nice digital render of the figure along with all the accessories that he comes with. Alright, let's get Iron Man out of the packaging. So here we have Iron Man. Now before we talk about the figure itself, let's go over the accessories. Despite being part of a Build-A-Figure wave, Iron Man doesn't come with any Build-A-Figure piece, so Iron Man comes with one pair of fists, one pair of open repulsor hands, and one pair of repulsor blast effects. And looking at these fisted hands, so I think they look nice, they're sculpted well. I like the details that we get here, like these rivets here. I'm not sure if that's the right term, but I like this a lot. And I also like the red that we get here. I like how flat it looks, but I also like how shiny the red plastic looks. So yeah, it's not too vibrant or saturated or anything. So yeah, this looks great. The same can be said for the open repulsor hand, so we get the same details and paint apps, so I do like this a lot. And we also get a peg hole here for the repulsor blast effects, which look really good. So I think we've seen this before. I think we've seen this with the Ironheart figure, but I think those were blue. So now we get these in this yellowish orange translucent plastic, and I think they look really great. Porting them in here is fairly easy, just like so. Just a brief bio about this particular armor. So this is the Iron Man armor model 29 or 30. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's model 29. And this suit is also known as the Extremis armor. So in the comics, taking the Extremis virus or serum allowed Tony to store the inner layers of his armor within his body and directly control it with his mind, essentially becoming one with the Iron Man suit. And the design for this suit was actually used as a basis for the Iron Man armor Mark 6 design in the MCU, which we don't have yet in Marvel Legends figure form, and I'm hoping Hasbro makes one really soon. And looking at the figure itself, so I think this looks really great. So starting with the helmet here, I love that the gold that we get here is so shiny. I like how lustrous it looks, it helps make the figure feel metallic or more metallic looking. And again, the flat red looks really good. I do see a bit of marbling here, but yeah, still looks great. And I also like how we get some black paint here and the facial slit. Nice touch there. And the rest of the piece looks fantastic. So we get some sculpted details on the armor here, like the lining here and some rivets here again at the back of the piece. I gotta say, the way this figure was sculpted and painted looks really, really clean and elegant, So yeah, this looks really nice. And also with the shoulder pads, they're made of this very durable but pliable plastic, so it shouldn't hinder the articulation that much. Also, just a note, so the marbling here on the red isn't that noticeable in my opinion, so that's great. But I do wish that the arc reactor here in the middle had some sort of gradient color in it, not just this basic white that they used. So I think that would have helped this figure look greater in my opinion. Anyway, the legs of the armor also look good, so I'm really loving how shiny the plastic turned out despite the shade of red itself being flat. And I also like the way that the legs are sculpted. So this red is on top of this gold piece here, so it doesn't really break the design like how it is in other Iron Man figures here. So yeah, I really like this sculpting choice for this figure. And lastly, I also like how big the jet boots are on this piece, so I think that makes sense for an Iron Man armor, So yeah, overall, I think the sculpt and paint apps on this figure look fantastic. Now let's go over the articulation for Iron Man here. So Iron Man can look up that far, that looks good. and he can look down as well. That's great. His head does rotate, but we don't get that much neck pivot here, so that's a bit disappointing. His shoulders can move upward that far, so he can move it up to 90 degrees. That's great. And he can bend them down as well. His shoulders do rotate 360. We get a bicep swivel. Pinless double jointed elbows. His wrists rotate and move up and down, so this wrist articulation is the same for all his alternate hands. He has a diaphragm pivot that allows him to move sideways, bend forward, backwards, and rotate side to side. And before I forget, I also want to point out that these tiny discs on the side also rotate. His legs can kick forward that far, and that looks great, and quite a bit backwards as well, so that looks even greater. His hips also move outward that far, so I think the leg articulation on this Iron Man figure is superb. Anyway, he has a thigh swivel, pinless double jointed knees, his ankles move up and down, and he has ankle pivot as well. Now for some figure comparisons, here's the Extremis Iron Man next to some other comic Iron Man figures that I have. So we have the Tony Stark AI armor and the Iron Man Model 70. And I think these all look great side by side, but if I were to choose which of these is my favorite armor design in the comics, I'd probably go with this new Extremis armor. And here's the Extremis armor next to the MCU armor Iron Man Mark 85, which shares a lot of similarities with this Extremis figure. So both of these figures have similar nanotechnology, and both can be controlled by Tony with his mind. And also the shapes of their arc reactors here are similar to each other. So that's my review of the Marvel Legends Iron Man Extremis armor. So I think this figure has a decent amount of accessories, awesome sculpt, fantastic paint apps, and great articulation. So yeah, I love this figure. And if you're wondering where I got this figure, so I got this figure from TOYCON 2023. So if you want to check out my vlog of that event, there's a link in the description below. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of this figure. Let me know what you think of my review. Please leave a comment below. And if you like this video, I do appreciate it a lot if you hit that like button. And if you still haven't, please hit that subscribe as well as the notification bell. You can also follow me on social media, links in the description below. And I'll see you guys in the next video.